Hey you. Yeah, you, the average American chilling on your couch right now. You think tying a giraffe to a lamppost in Georgia is no big deal? Or waking a sleeping bear for that epic selfie in Alaska? Selling your own eyeball in Texas? Pushing a moose out of a plane, or even parking your elephant at a meter in Florida? You'll swear these are just harmless everyday things you can totally get away with. But dead wrong. These bonkers laws are still enforced, and yep, you can get slapped with fines or arrested. Smash that subscribe to Factopia right now and hit the bell, because every week we're dropping fresh videos with mind-blowing facts on wild new topics. You never know what's coming next. Stay shocked. Stay subscribed. Number 1. Georgia once decided giraffes were a traffic hazard. Yep, it's illegal to tie one to a lamppost or telephone pole. Back in the early 1900s, traveling circuses used downtown streets to rest their animals, and a giraffe supposedly blocked a trolley, causing total chaos. Lawmakers panicked and passed a ban instead of just, adding a no parking sign. Today, nobody enforces it, mostly because Georgia doesn't have roaming herds of pet giraffes. Still, it's technically on the books. So, if you ever win the lottery and buy a giraffe, make sure it's not parked downtown. Number 2. In Texas, you can't sell your own eye. Sounds like a line from a horror movie, but it's rooted in real organ trafficking scandals from the 1970s. Unscrupulous clinics were paying people for body parts, and lawmakers decided to slam the door completely. The rule falls under the Uniform Anatomical Gift Act and is definitely enforced today. You can donate an eye after death, but selling one while alive counts as a felony. Number 3. Ohio requires a license to hunt mice, which sounds like bureaucracy gone insane. It began in the early 1900s when pest control businesses needed special wildlife permits. The language never clarified that it only applied to exterminators, so technically anyone killing a mouse without a license could be breaking the law. Of course, nobody enforces it now. The state has bigger problems than your kitchen traps. Still, it lives on in the archives as a reminder that sloppy wording can turn pest control into a potential criminal act. Congratulations, Ohio. Your mice are basically unionized. Number 4. Alaska had to make it illegal to wake a sleeping bear for a photo. You'd think common sense covered that, but no. Tourists were literally shaking hibernation dens to get the perfect shot. Park rangers got tired of rescues that ended with shredded camera bags and hospital visits. The law still stands, and rangers take it seriously under the state's Wildlife Harassment Code. Number 5. New Jersey once banned frowning at police officers, which might be the most Jersey thing ever. The wording came from a 1920s disorderly conduct rule that treated disrespect as a public disturbance. It wasn't about emotions. It was about stopping mouthy citizens during Prohibition protests. Over time, the phrasing got twisted into no frowning at cops, which newspapers love to mock. Today, it's symbolic more than serious. You won't get cuffed for a scowl. Still, in a state famous for road rage, smiling might actually keep the peace, and the ticket book closed. Number 6. Minnesota used to prohibit crossing state lines with a duck on your head. The law was born from early migratory bird regulations when poachers smuggled game birds across borders disguised as pets. One overzealous clerk added on your head to describe carrying them without a crate, and that hilarious detail stuck. Nobody enforces it now. It's basically legal folklore, but it remains technically valid. If you ever road trip through Minnesota wearing a live mallard like a hat, you might be the first test case in a century. Bring a lawyer and a towel. Number 7. Kansas outlawed serving ice cream on cherry pie, proving dessert politics once mattered deeply. Around 1906, lawmakers were cracking down on food adulteration, and cheap pie vendors were drowning stale slices in ice cream to hide the flavor. Health inspectors called it deceptive, so the state banned the combo entirely. Modern Kansans, of course, ignored that nonsense. Every diner in Wichita proudly serves cherry pie a la mode. It's one of those ancient rules left to rot in the archives. More sugar-coated history than law. Still, technically, every bite is sweet, creamy rebellion. Number 8. Alabama made driving while blindfolded illegal, and honestly, thank goodness. The ban started in the 1940s after a wave of daredevil stunts where people filmed trust drives for laughs. Several wrecks later, legislators decided a direct ban, was the only way to stop human Darwin awards. It's still valid today under reckless driving statutes. Police don't pull people over for wearing sleep masks, but if you brag online about blindfold racing, expect a ticket and maybe a viral mugshot. Alabama's slogan might as well be, "Keep your eyes on the road," literally. Number 9. Oregon's underwater whistling ban came from early public pool safety rules. Lifeguards used whistles for emergency codes, and pranksters thought it was hilarious to blow bubbles and confuse everyone. After one near drowning, officials wrote a blanket ban on whistling underwater. It's rarely, if ever, enforced now, but it remains in certain municipal ordinances. The practical translation: if you're underwater, breathe, don't whistle. Oregon takes its water sports seriously, even the musical kind. Number 10. Oklahoma made eavesdropping illegal, even with a cup against the wall. The law grew out of 1960s privacy reforms during the first big wave of wiretapping scandals. Legislators realized that any device used to overhear counted, so, yes, a coffee cup technically qualified. It's still an active law, though mainly used for serious surveillance cases. So while nobody's busting you for listening to your roommate's bad karaoke, recording your neighbor's conversation might still land you a court date. Moral of the story: in Oklahoma, curiosity isn't just rude, it's regulated. Number 11. North Dakota made it illegal to fall asleep with your shoes on. The idea came from early saloon laws where bartenders could tell if someone passed out drunk. If the boots stayed on, you were still party mode. Police used it as proof of intoxication so they could fine bar owners for overserving. The rule never got officially repealed, but nobody enforces it now. Sleeping habits are safe again. It's basically a hangover from a time when cowboys couldn't T-handle their whiskey, and their shoes did all the tattling. Number 12. In Arizona, chopping down a cactus can earn you 25 years behind bars. That's not exaggeration. The giant saguaros are protected under state law because they take more than a century to grow. Vandals kept shooting or carving initials into them, so officials treated the plants like cultural monuments. Rangers still enforce it. People have genuinely gone to prison for slicing one. So if you're in the desert with a chainsaw, maybe pick a different hobby. Those cacti have survived 200 years of heat. They deserve better than becoming lawn decor. Number 13. Vermont once required women to get written permission from their husbands before wearing false teeth. The logic? Marriage property laws in the 1800s viewed dental work as a shared investment. Lawmakers worried wives might hide spending on dentures, so they made it a household decision. Thankfully, that sexist relic died quietly after World War II when independence and common sense caught up. Today, no one's checking permission slips for dentures, though the law AS wording still lurks in dusty archives, reminding everyone how absurd male approval once sounded. Number 14. Delaware banned selling dog hair. Yes, that's a real thing. In the 1980s, a few crafty folks started spinning canine wool into sweaters and selling it at markets. Health regulators freaked out about allergens and contamination, so they outlawed all pet fur products. The rule technically remains, but it's rarely enforced because, honestly, who's running a secret dog hair cartel? Still, if you're knitting a golden retriever hoodie for Etsy, maybe list it under gift and not commerce. Delaware takes fluff seriously. Number 15. In Maine, parking in front of a Dunkin' Donuts can get you fined. The rule came after one Portland branch caused endless traffic jams with caffeine-hungry locals double parking during rush hour. City officials finally wrote it into local law. No stopping in front of Dunkin' ever. It's still enforced at certain stores. Officers joke it's their coffee break quota. The irony? Most people just circle the block until they burn enough gas to cancel out their latte anyway. Maine loves Dunkin', but not gridlock. Number 16. Utah made it illegal to cause a cat and dog fight. The law came after underground animal sport rings tried mixing species for bets. It went as terribly as you'd expect. Legislators expanded cruelty laws to stop anyone from intentionally provoking domestic pets into brawls. It's absolutely enforced today under felony animal abuse statutes. Utah doesn't tolerate backyard gladiator matches. Cats hiss, dogs bark, and humans get the jail time. Number 17. Alabama says you can't play dominoes on Sunday. The rule dates back to the old blue laws that banned fun, games, and basically anything enjoyable on the Sabbath. Dominoes counted as gambling, so churches pressured lawmakers to outlaw it. These days, most cities ignore it, though technically it's still there. If you're in Alabama flipping tiles on a Sunday, relax, no one's raiding the picnic. Just don't start betting, or the Bible Belt might tighten. Number 18. Wisconsin treats butter like royalty. Serving margarine instead, without warning, was once a punishable offense. The 1920s Oleomargarine Act came from dairy farmers fighting imported margarine that threatened the butter industry. Restaurants had to post signs or risk fines. Believe it or not, the rule still exists for state institutions like prisons and schools, though hardly anyone checks. In Wisconsin, you don't mess with dairy pride. Fake butter's the closest thing to blasphemy. Number 19. Idaho says giving someone a box of candy weighing more than 50 pounds is a crime. This bizarre rule was meant to stop manipulative gift-giving, mostly men overwhelming women with giant candy boxes on Valentine's Day. Lawmakers called it excessive influence. It's long gone now, replaced by modern consumer laws, but it's still hilarious to imagine officers weighing chocolates with a scale. Number 20. In Montana, you can't drive with a sheep in the cab of your truck. Ranchers used to haul livestock to town and let the animals ride shotgun. After too many sheep distractions and a few accidents, the state banned it for safety reasons. Officers technically can fine you if a live woolly passenger blocks your view, though most just laugh it off today. It's one of those rules written after one farmer made everyone else look bad. Moral: seatbelts are for people, not livestock. Number 21. In Illinois, it's illegal to fish while sitting on a giraffe. Sounds like someone had a really specific afternoon, right? This law popped up after a traveling circus lost a few animals, and a clever local reportedly used a giraffe for fishing stunts to draw a crowd. Lawmakers shut it down fast, for public safety and animal welfare. It's not enforced anymore, mostly because nobody owns a giraffe for fishing practice, but the rule still lives on paper. Number 22. Georgia once banned keeping a donkey in a bathtub. The rule came after a rancher's donkey got washed away during a flood, bathtub and all, floating through town like a sad Disney movie. The cleanup cost was ridiculous, so lawmakers made sure no one's bathroom became a livestock spa again. It's rarely enforced now, but still technically valid. So if you ever consider giving your donkey a bubble bath, maybe stick to a hose and a bucket. Georgia's been there, done that, paid the damages. Number 23. In Alaska, it's illegal to push a moose out of an airplane. And yes, someone actually did that. Back in the 1940s, pranksters staged an airdrop for a moose as a publicity stunt. It didn't end well for anyone involved. Officials immediately outlawed any act of dropping live animals from aircraft. The rule's still active and taken seriously under animal cruelty laws. Number 24. Pennsylvania forbids teaching dogs to chase bears. Hunters once trained hounds to run bears out of the woods, making it easier to shoot them. The state called foul on the cruelty and danger, banning it outright to protect both wildlife and the dogs. The law's enforced even today with hefty fines for violators. Pennsylvania's message is clear. If it has claws, let it nap in peace. Number 25. In Florida, if you park your elephant at a meter, you must feed it enough hay. Back in the circus days, elephants were vehicles, and when handlers left them tied downtown, the city wrote parking ordinances to cover the chaos and the droppings. The hay rule came as a joke turned policy to keep them from starving while owners shopped. It's not enforced now, but it's still on the books in some towns. Number 26. Oklahoma made it illegal to make ugly faces at dogs. The story goes back to a police officer's dog being provoked by kids, leading to a bite incident. Lawmakers turned it into a misdemeanor under animal harassment. It's technically still valid, though no one's been booked for face crimes in decades. The law's real message? Don't taunt animals. They don't understand sarcasm. If you find yourself arguing with a poodle, the legal system already decided who's in the wrong. It's you. Number 27. Ohio once banned giving fish alcohol. Fishermen thought it'd make the catch easier. Drunk fish swim slower, right? Authorities disagreed, calling it animal cruelty and environmental damage. The law was written to stop stunts like tossing beer into ponds during festivals. It's still technically a violation, though rarely cited. Number 28. In Arizona, it's illegal to let your camel sleep on the highway. This bizarre one dates back to when the U.S. Army actually used camels for desert transport. After the project failed, a few camels wandered into towns, lying down on roads to soak up warmth at night. Locals got fed up, and lawmakers banned it for safety. The law isn't enforced anymore, but it's still there, a fossil from America's weird camel era. Number 29. Nebraska fines you for whaling, which is hilarious because Nebraska's landlocked. The law was part of a federal Wildlife Protection Act that every state had to sign, even the ones without oceans. So technically, yes, you can't hunt whales in Nebraska, but you'd need one first. Officials keep it on the books for consistency, though it's more of a punchline than a policy. If you're in Omaha with a harpoon, you've got bigger issues than legality, like explaining where you found the whale. Number 30. Wyoming bans photographing rabbits in June. The rule started in the 1920s, when hunters disguised as photographers used cameras to scout and trap during breeding season. The state cracked down to protect wildlife, and the law stuck. It's rarely enforced now, though wildlife officers still joke about it. Number 31. In Colorado, it's illegal to ride a horse while drunk. The law dates back to when sheriffs got tired of cowboys staggering home on horseback after saloon nights. A few accidents, one runaway horse, and suddenly lawmakers decided a horse counts as a vehicle. It's still enforced today under DUI laws, and yes, people have been arrested for it. Colorado basically said, if you're too tipsy to drive, you're too tipsy to trot. So if you plan to cowboy up after a few beers, maybe call an Uber, or better yet, walk. The horse deserves better than being your designated driver. Number 32. Kansas made it illegal to shoot rabbits from a motorboat, which sounds like someone mixed up hunting and water skiing. The law came after hunters started using boats to chase rabbits along riverbanks, firing from the water like action heroes. Lawmakers saw the chaos and banned it for safety reasons. Stray bullets and ricochets were getting too close to fishermen. It's technically still on the books, though rarely enforced. Today it mostly exists as a reminder that combining speedboats, guns, and rabbits is how you make the evening news, not dinner. Number 33. Indiana outlawed tickling mules. Yes, you can actually be arrested for it. In the early 1900s, pranksters found out that a tickled mule kicks hard enough to knock down a barn wall. After a few injuries and lawsuits, lawmakers made it a crime to provoke one for amusement. The law still technically stands under animal cruelty codes. It's one of those classic we shouldn't have had to write this down moments. If your weekend plans involve livestock and laughter, maybe stick to petting zoos. Mules don't appreciate stand-up comedy. Number 34. North Carolina banned using elephants to plow cotton fields. Traveling circuses used to rent out elephants for side jobs between shows, and farmers thought the massive animals could pull more in less time. Turns out elephants trample everything: rows, fences, and occasionally the farmer's pride. After enough crushed fields, the state made it illegal. It's no longer enforced, mainly because most farmers aren't juggling pachyderms, but the law still stands. Number 35. On Hollywood Boulevard, it's illegal to walk your dog without cleaning up after it. In the 1970s, tourists kept stepping in celebrity messes while admiring the Walk of Fame, and the city had enough. They passed a sanitation law specifically targeting pet owners who thought fame excused filth. It's absolutely enforced today. Fines can reach hundreds of dollars. Number 36. Kentucky banned selling baby chicks dyed pink, blue, or green. And no, it wasn't about fashion crimes. During Easter season in the 1950s, vendors started dyeing chicks bright colors to make them cuter for kids. Problem was, most families bought them as toys, not pets, and abandoned them after the novelty wore off. Animal welfare groups pushed back hard, and Kentucky made it illegal to sell artificially colored animals. It's still enforced today, especially around Easter. Number 37. In Arkansas, it's illegal to honk at cows from your car. This one's rooted in pure rural logic. Early motorists thought it was funny to blare horns at grazing cattle, which startled the animals and caused stampedes. After a few panicked herds trampled fences, and some unfortunate vehicles, lawmakers stepped in. The rule still technically applies in some farming areas, though it's rarely enforced unless you really cause chaos. Number 38. Rhode Island says you can't hunt using ferrets. It sounds like a Monty Python sketch, but it's true. In colonial times, people trained ferrets to flush rabbits out of burrows, but the little guys often got lost underground or attacked other wildlife. When animal protection laws came around, Rhode Island banned the practice entirely. It's still illegal today with fines for anyone caught ferreting. Number 39. In Maryland, you can't take a lion to the movies. This law actually came after a traveling circus performer thought it would be funny to walk his lion into a Baltimore theater during intermission to entertain the crowd. Panic followed. People fled, and the city banned exotic animals in public spaces like theaters. It's still technically active under public safety codes. Number 40. California once banned eating oranges in the bathtub. The law came from early 1900s sanitation myths. Someone claimed the citric acid reacted with soap and created toxic gas. Spoiler, it didn't. But health boards panicked and wrote the rule anyway. It's long since defunct, but it lingers in trivia books as one of the state's strangest bans. So while it's perfectly legal now, maybe don't mix fruit and bubble baths just to prove a point. California already learned that lesson. With pulp. Number 41. In Gainesville, Georgia, eating fried chicken with a fork is technically illegal. The rule was born in 1961 as a publicity stunt. City officials wanted Gainesville crowned poultry capital of the world. They even staged a fake arrest when a tourist dared to cut her chicken instead of using her hands. Nobody enforces it today, but locals still brag about it with pride. The message stuck. Fried chicken isn't just food here, it's heritage. If you're using cutlery, you're not breaking the law, you're breaking hearts. Number 42. Massachusetts once outlawed eating peanuts in church. Back in the early 1900s, kids snuck snacks into pews, shells cracking mid-sermon and rolling down the aisles. Clergy called it unholy noise pollution, and legislators, somehow, agreed. The law faded long ago, but the moral stands tall. Respect the sermon, leave the crunch outside. Anyone smuggling planters into Sunday service today will just get glares, not handcuffs. Divine forgiveness may be infinite, but peanut tolerance clearly wasn't. Number 43. Connecticut decided pickles must bounce to count as real pickles. During the 1940s, crooked vendors sold spoiled cucumbers labeled fresh, and inspectors needed a quick test. A good pickle springs back, a bad one splats. The state literally dropped produce to judge quality, and that bouncing rule became legend. Modern food labs don't toss pickles around anymore, but the story survived. Connecticut takes its condiments seriously. Failure to bounce isn't just disappointing, it's historically suspicious. Number 44. Kansas banned ice cream eating on Sundays, thanks to old blue laws policing worldly pleasures. Ministers feared dessert shops were stealing church attendance one scoop at a time. By the 1960s, enforcement melted away, but the ordinance still sits in dusty archives. Nowadays, nobody's measuring your faith by your waffle cone. Still, if you're in small-town Kansas licking sprinkles before noon, you're living the rebellion those pastors warned about. Number 45. Oklahoma supposedly made ugly faces at sandwiches a crime. The myth spun from a misprint of a real dog harassment law, but people loved it so much they kept repeating it until it stuck in trivia books. There's no official record of enforcement, no sandwich face patrol, just a community in on the joke. Number 46. Ohio once discouraged walking backward while eating donuts. The rule appeared after a festival clown tripped, face-planted, and caused a domino pileup of parade-goers. Officials cited unsafe backward motion combined with consumption. It quietly disappeared, but locals still quote it during fairs. The lesson remains timeless. You can juggle, you can snack, but doing both in reverse is still the dumbest circus trick in town. Number 47. New Jersey's no slurping soup rule came from 1900s restaurant decorum laws targeting noisy eaters. City councils lumped slurping with spitting, burping, and public disturbances. Cops ignored it, but the etiquette pressure worked. people learned to sip quietly or risk social exile. Today, ramen shops would collapse under that ordinance. Jersey diners survived louder things anyway, like traffic and arguments over pizza. Number 48. South Carolina outlawed eating garbage during the Great Depression. It wasn't moral panic, it was sanitation. People desperate for food raided dumps, spreading disease, so officials criminalized it to keep outbreaks down. The rule technically remains under health codes, though nobody's prowling bins for offenders. It's one of those bleak reminders that weird laws often started with survival, not stupidity. Number 49. New York banned eating in elevators after decades of sticky disasters. Sodas exploded, pizza boxes wedged indoors, and maintenance crews revolted. The sanitation board stepped in during the 1970s to preserve public elevators and everyone's dignity. The rule still appears in some building codes. If you're caught mid-sandwich between floors, expect more judgment than fines. New York doesn't stop you from hustling, just from leaving mustard on the buttons. Number 50. Beech Grove, Indiana. Once banned watermelon in parks. Workers got sick of seeds and rinds clogging drains, attracting ants and staining picnic tables. The mayor finally outlawed it in the 1950s to keep parks clean. Nobody enforces it now, but the ban lingers in local lore. It's a small-town relic of when civic pride meant spotless grass and zero fruit carnage. If you picnic there today, the cops won't show up, but the janitor's spirit might. Number 51. In Louisiana, gargling in public is technically illegal. The rule came from a 1950s health ordinance meant to stop people from spitting on sidewalks after rinsing their mouths in public fountains. It wasn't about hygiene, it was about manners. Nobody enforces it now, but it's still in the state's odd legal archives. Imagine an officer writing a ticket mid-mouthwash session. Louisiana's charm is all about music, food, and culture, but maybe keep your oral care off Bourbon Street. Number 52. Alabama once banned playing dominoes while eating on Sundays. It was another one of those blue laws built to keep Sundays holy, which basically meant no fun and no crumbs near church time. The logic? Food and games distracted people from worship. The law's long gone, though small-town elders still joke about domino sinners. Nowadays you can eat ribs, play dominoes, and hum gospel at once, because even Alabama realized God probably doesn't mind multitasking. Number 53. Gainesville, Georgia, strikes again, this time banning the use of sporks for eating chicken. The original fried chicken law demanded you eat with your hands, and when tourists tried to find loopholes using hybrid utensils, city jokesters amended it. The rule isn't enforced, it's pure hometown humor. But locals love the legend, it's part of their poultry pride. Forks? Fancy. Sporks? Cheating. Hands? Now that's the Georgia way. It's less a crime and more a culinary commandment. Number 54. North Carolina supposedly bans eating peanuts after sunset. The law was written during World War II, when peanut trucks often crashed at night, and farmers wanted to stop roadside scavenging before recovery crews arrived. It's not enforced now, but the myth stuck as a quirky bedtime rule. Ironically, North Carolina remains one of America's biggest peanut producers. Eat them anytime. Just maybe not while dodging headlights. Number 55. Massachusetts once said you couldn't go to bed without a full meal. The law came from a 1700s moral code promoting proper Christian living, where hunger before sleep was seen as neglect of one's body. It's long since disappeared, but it shows how early lawmakers mixed nutrition with morality. Today, skipping dinner just means poor life choices, not criminal ones. Massachusetts has evolved from bedtime policing to bedtime snacks. Progress in the name of midnight cravings. Number 56. Oregon declared it illegal to eat ice cream while standing on the sidewalk. The ordinance started in the 1940s after kids kept blocking pedestrian traffic downtown during summer. It wasn't anti-dessert, it was anti-chaos. The rule faded away decades ago, but the image of officers chasing cone-licking kids still cracks locals up. Oregon loves its weird reputation. This one just adds sprinkles on top. Number 57. Maine took its Dunkin' Donuts obsession too seriously. A few towns banned snacking while waiting in line because traffic jams spilled into streets during rush hours. Customers were munching before paying, and that slowed everything. The rule isn't really enforced now, but old-timers remember signs politely reminding folks to wait until served. In Maine, coffee is sacred. Patience, apparently, even more so. Number 58. In North Carolina, singing off-key in public can technically get you fined. The rule dates back to the 1800s when lawmakers targeted disturbing public peace through excessive or unpleasant noise. It wasn't about talent, it was about volume. Nobody's measuring pitch today, but the myth lives on in trivia books. If you're belting karaoke downtown, just stay in rhythm. The South loves a good tune, not a public disturbance. Number 59. Vermont bans whistling underwater. It started as a humorous addition to public swimming safety laws. After someone filed a complaint about pool-goers making strange noises, a board clerk scribbled it into the record as a joke. Technically, it was approved, and now it's legend. Nobody's enforcing it, mostly because, well, it's impossible. Still, Vermont proves even bureaucracy has a sense of humor. Number 60. In South Dakota, sleeping in a cheese factory is a crime. The law came after dairy workers began camping overnight in processing rooms during long shifts, and contamination became a problem. Health inspectors shut it down fast. The rule still exists, though modern factories don't have that issue. South Dakota takes its dairy seriously. Sleep on your couch, not next to the cheddar wheel. It's not personal, it's pasteurized. Number 61. In Iowa, having too many cats can actually land you in trouble. Most cities cap ownership at 3 or 4 cats because of odor, noise, and neighbor complaints. This law came after a few cat hoarding incidents, where dozens of strays turned one woman-ass home into a living fur storm. Animal control stepped in, and lawmakers drew the line. It is still enforced, mostly for health reasons, but it is funny to imagine officers counting tails like it as a feline census. Love cats all you want, just stop before your house starts meowing back. Number 62. Kentucky bans carrying ice cream in your back pocket. Weird? Absolutely. But in the 1800s, horse thieves used melting cones to lure animals away without technically stealing them. The horses just followed the scent. Lawmakers caught on fast and outlawed the trick. It's one of those outdated laws that survives as trivia gold. No one's enforcing it now, but still, maybe keep your dessert in your hand, not your jeans. Sticky pants and confused horses aren't worth the story. Number 63. Driving with a gorilla in your backseat is illegal in several states, including Massachusetts and Kansas, but the rule gained fame from Florida's old animal transport law. It came after circus performers kept hauling primates in convertibles, which, yes, caused chaos at red lights. Public safety officials decided that no unsecured gorillas should be a permanent thing. It's technically still on the books, though mostly symbolic. So if you ever carpool with King Kong, buckle him up. Or better yet, call a zoo van. Number 64. Utah says you can't fish while riding a horse. The law dates back to the 1800s when mounted hunters tried lassoing trout out of rivers for sport. Horses would panic, fishermen would fall in, and chaos followed. Officials banned fishing from horseback to protect both species involved. Nobody's been cited in decades, but it remains a reminder that some hobbies need fewer hooves and more hooks. In short, ride the horse to the river, then dismount before you cast. Number 65. Flirting in public can technically get you fined in Alabama. Back in the early 1900s, local leaders passed laws against immoral conduct to curb street flirting and catcalling. The rule lumped harmless compliments with harassment, so it aged poorly. These days, it's only enforced if things get truly inappropriate. Still, it's wild that smiling at someone too long was once a legal risk. Alabama might forgive bad pickup lines now, but back then, even a wink could cost you. Number 66. In Kentucky, pretending to be a minister can actually get you arrested. The law came from the early 1900s when con men went town to town preaching, collecting fake donations, and disappearing. They weren't just preaching the gospel. They were preaching for gas money. The state cracked down and made impersonating clergy a misdemeanor. It's still technically valid today, though rarely enforced unless fraud's involved. So if you're not ordained, maybe skip the sermon hat. Kentucky doesn't need another prophet with a price tag. Number 67. Florida bans tying an alligator to a fire hydrant, which sounds like a fever dream but came straight from logic. During the 1930s, some people kept baby gators as pets and chained them outside, like dogs. When a few firemen got surprise attacks during calls, the city wrote an ordinance banning alligators from public fixtures. It's still on the books in some towns, though mostly ignored today. But if you've got a pet gator named Steve, keep him away from public property and firefighters. Number 68. In Samoa, forgetting your wife's birthday isn't just rude, it's criminal. The rule came from cultural expectations around respect and family honor. A missed birthday was considered emotional neglect, serious enough for a fine or community service. These days, it's not really enforced, but the tradition still holds social weight. Samoan husbands rarely forget, not because they fear jail, but because they value peace at home. And honestly, that's a better reason than avoiding a courtroom. Number 69. Exploding golf balls are federally banned in the US. And yes, that's a real sentence. Back in the mid-1900s, prank manufacturers sold trick balls that burst into smoke or sparks on impact. After a few burn injuries and one small fire, the Consumer Product Safety Commission stepped in and outlawed them under hazardous materials law. Today, the ban still stands. So if you're thinking of spicing up your next golf outing with fireworks, maybe stick to the 4th of July instead. Golf courses prefer divots, not detonations. Number 70. Having Christmas lights up too long can actually get you fined in several US cities. The idea started as a neighborhood courtesy rule, mostly to stop February lawns from looking like holiday leftovers. Cities like San Diego and Fort Worth still issue warnings or small fines if decorations stay up past spring. It's not about the law, really. It's about community pride and electrical sanity. If your Santa's still glowing by Easter, the city might step in with a polite reminder that Christmas ended months ago. Number 71. Arizona once had camels roaming its deserts. Seriously. Back in the 1850s, the US Army imported them for transport, calling it the Camel Corps. They worked great until the Civil War hit and the project collapsed. The camels escaped or were released, wandering the desert for years and confusing everyone. Locals started hunting them for sport, so Arizona banned camel hunting entirely. The law still exists, even though there hasn't been a wild camel sighting in over a century. But hey, better safe than sorry, especially if the ghost of one is still out there spitting in protest. Number 72. Massachusetts says you can't scare pigeons, not feed them, not chase them, and definitely not jump out yelling boo. The law was written to stop city kids from scattering flocks and causing chaos in public squares. Apparently, pigeons crashing into shop windows was bad for business and bird morale. It's technically still on the books, though nobody's been fined for it in ages. Still, if you're in Boston and feel like recreating a Hitchcock movie, maybe don't. The pigeons, and probably a cop, will both have opinions. Number 73. Taking selfies with tigers isn't just risky, it's illegal in several US states. After a wave of viral big cat photos turned out to involve sketchy roadside zoos, lawmakers stepped in. New York was first, banning public contact with tigers to protect both people and the animals. Other states followed fast. It's still a law today, and for good reason. One bad angle and you're lunch with likes. If you really need a tiger in your photo, Photoshop's cheaper and way less bitey. Number 74. You can't sell your eyeballs in the United States. Yes, even if you've got two perfectly good ones and rent's due. Federal law classifies the sale of human organs, including eyes, as a serious crime. The rule came after early transplant abuses in the 1970s when black market buyers paid desperate people for parts. Donation? Totally fine. Selling? Straight to prison. So if you ever see an ad offering cash for corneas, close your eyes and walk away. Both of them. Number 75. Fishing with explosives might look cinematic, but it's a federal felony. The practice, known as blast fishing, kills everything in the water and wrecks entire ecosystems. It started showing up in rural rivers back in the early 1900s, mostly as a lazy way to fill buckets fast. The government cracked down hard under wildlife protection laws. Today, even a homemade blast can earn you serious jail time. It's the one kind of fishing where catching a big one could mean catching a felony instead. Number 76. You can actually go to jail for driving too slowly in the left lane. That lane's the fast one, the passing one, the please move over lane. States like Georgia and Oregon treat left lane camping as a traffic hazard, not a courtesy issue. The rule started when highway pileups happened because slow drivers clogged passing lanes. Police don't care if you're saving gas or sightseeing. Blocking flow is the real crime. The left lane's for momentum, not meditation. Number 77. Collecting rainwater in Colorado sounds harmless, but it was once treated like stealing from the sky. The state's old water rights laws gave every drop a legal owner. Farms, cities, even downstream users. When homeowners installed barrels to catch runoff, lawmakers cried water theft. After a long fight, small-scale collection was legalized in 2016, with strict limits. Today you can keep a couple barrels, but no backyard reservoirs. In Colorado, even the clouds have lawyers. Number 78. That bald eagle feather you found? Don't touch it. Federal law protects every part of the national bird. Feathers, nests, even a single talon. The Bald and Golden Eagle Protection Act dates back to 1940, when hunters nearly wiped the species out. Today, only registered tribal members can possess feathers for ceremonial use. Everyone else risks big fines or jail. The rule might sound extreme, but it's the reason the bird recovered. Majestic, untouchable, and very much off limits. Number 79. Pocketing a rock from a national park seems innocent, right? Not to the rangers. Removing natural features is a federal offense under park protection laws. Tourists used to haul home bags of souvenirs, rocks, pine cones, even sand, until erosion and theft damaged trails. Now signs politely say, "Take only pictures." Rangers mean it. Each pebble may look worthless, but together they're part of the ecosystem. The fine can hit hundreds, and the embarrassment lasts forever. Number 80. Sitting on a New York sidewalk might sound relaxing until a patrol car pulls up. City ordinances once banned loitering or sitting on public walkways to keep pedestrian traffic moving. It targeted crowds outside shops, but enforcement sometimes got ridiculous. People fined for tying shoes or waiting for friends. Modern reforms softened the rule, yet it's still illegal to obstruct sidewalks. In New York, you can dream big, talk loud, walk fast. Just don't sit down while you do it. Number 81. For decades, New York treated nunchucks like contraband. In the 1970s, after a burst of Bruce Lee mania, lawmakers panicked that every teenager would become a rooftop ninja. They banned possession outright. Not guns, not knives, but wooden sticks on a string. Martial arts schools had to lock theirs in safes like crown jewels. Finally, in 2018, a federal judge struck it down as unconstitutional under the right to bear arms. Now New Yorkers can legally spin nunchucks again, though most just bruise their own elbows instead of fighting crime. Number 82. Sending someone a surprise pizza sounds hilarious until police call it harassment. Across several states, prank delivery has been reclassified as fraud because it wastes business time and leaves the recipient stuck with the bill. The law started in the 1990s after a rash of prank orders jammed delivery lines. Today, one unexpected pepperoni could equal a fine. If you want to show love, Venmo the cash. Don't summon Domino's like a debt collector. Number 83. Driving barefoot divides America. Some states shrug, others treat it like reckless driving. The confusion began when safety groups claimed bare feet slip off pedals, prompting a few local bans. Truth is, no federal law forbids it, but some officers still cite unsafe operation if you're caught shoeless in an accident. So technically you can drive barefoot, but if you crash, expect lectures about grip, not freedom. Comfort's fine. Asphalt burn isn't. Number 84. Selling homemade pickles without a license is a crime in many states, thanks to health code laws known as cottage food regulations. They started after one too many jars spoiled at county fairs, giving people more than just tangy flavor. To sell legally, you need inspections, labels, and in some cases a commercial kitchen. Sure, Grandma's brine might be legendary, but without a permit, it's considered biohazard chic. The government's not anti-pickle, just anti-botulism. Number 85. Even sea glass has lawyers. On certain California beaches, collecting it counts as theft of natural resources. Coastal agencies argue the glittering bits, once broken bottles, now ocean art, belong to the ecosystem, not tourists. Glass Beach in Fort Bragg is the prime example. People kept hauling jars home until the colorful shore started fading. Rangers cracked down, literally. Take photos, not souvenirs. Otherwise, you're basically stealing from the waves. Number 86. Mailing a single penny might sound harmless, but the U.S. Postal Service calls that non-mentionable. Basically, if your coin-filled envelope jams their sorting machines, you're the problem. It's a federal offense to damage mail processing equipment, and a fine can follow. The rule was written for pranksters who used to send coins glued to postcards or random pocket change as art. Cute idea, until it shredded $40,000 worth of machines. If you really want to send someone a cent, try Venmo. It's less likely to trigger federal involvement. Number 87. Washing your car in your driveway is illegal in dozens of U.S. cities, not because of soap bubbles, but because of what's in them. Runoff from detergent carries oil, grease, and microplastics straight into storm drains. Environmental codes now forbid uncontained vehicle washing in places like Los Angeles and Seattle. The irony? You can still pay a commercial car wash to use even more water, as long as they recycle it. America loves rules that make sense eventually. Number 88. Taking driftwood home from a federal shore can land you a fine, even if it's the prettiest piece on the beach. National seashore laws treat all natural debris, shells, stones, wood, as protected property. The policy started after visitors began hauling truckloads of driftwood for furniture projects. Coastal ecosystems suffered, erosion sped up, and rangers had to step in. Today it's leave it where you found it. You can admire it, photograph it, maybe name it, but if it fits in your trunk, it belongs to Uncle Sam. Number 89. Filming on federal property without permission can actually get you arrested. In 2007, security laws expanded unauthorized documentation rules after people started vlogging in restricted areas, federal buildings, courthouses, even IRS offices. It's less about censorship, more about security risk. Professionals need permits, and even casual creators can be questioned if tripods appear. So if you're planning your next viral dance in front of a federal courthouse, maybe pick a park instead. Same lighting, fewer handcuffs. Number 90. Feeding pigeons in San Francisco is a $1,000 mistake. The city once battled a full-blown pigeon infestation, flocks nesting on monuments, dropping, well, everywhere. Health officials declared war and outlawed feeding them entirely. Volunteers now hand out flyers saying, "Feed people, not pigeons." It's still actively enforced, even tossing crumbs can earn you a citation. Tourists think it's cute. Locals know it's chemical warfare and feathers. Number 91. Grabbing a dinosaur bone from public land might sound like a dream come true, but in the US, it's a straight-up federal felony. After years of amateur fossil hunters hauling out bones and selling them online, the 2009 Paleontological Resources Preservation Act made every fossil on federal property government property. Scientists now need excavation permits, and even a small vertebra can earn you prison time if pocketed. Basically, unless you've got a PhD and a clipboard, keep your Jurassic ambitions at the museum gift shop. Number 92. Hawaii treats its sand like gold dust. Tourists used to scoop up jars of it as souvenirs, and local beaches began shrinking. Officials responded with a clear message: remove sand, and you'll face fines or even detainment. Airport security regularly confiscates bottles of borrowed sand. Locals also say bad luck follows anyone who steals from the islands. A curse plus a citation. It's poetic justice. You take the beach takes your peace. Number 93. Bringing fruit across state lines can actually count as agricultural smuggling. The law came after pest outbreaks, like fruit flies and citrus greening, wrecked entire farms. Inspectors now station at borders, especially between California, Arizona, and Florida, to seize rogue oranges and mangoes. Most people mean no harm, but one wormy apple can start a disaster. So if you're road tripping with snacks, eat them before you drive. Crossing borders with contraband citrus just isn't the outlaw story you want told. Number 94. Not licensing your dog might feel like skipping paperwork, but Legally, it's neglect. Licenses fund rabies control and animal shelters, so cities treat it as public health enforcement, not bureaucracy. Officers can fine or even detain unregistered pets. It all traces back to early 1900s rabies outbreaks when untagged dogs spread disease through towns. Today, it's quick and cheap to register. Plus, it proves ownership if your pup gets lost. In short, a $5 tag beats a $100 fine and a trip to doggy jail. Number 95. Borrowing someone else's Wi-Fi can land you in jail under computer fraud laws. It's called piggybacking, and it's been prosecuted when users accessed private networks to stream, download, or snoop. The first big case came in Michigan in 2007. A guy sitting in his car outside a cafe got arrested mid-scroll. Most states now treat it like unauthorized access to property. Free internet's great, but so is freedom in general, and neither includes your neighbor's router. Number 96. Leaving snow piled on your car roof might look festive, but it's actually illegal in several states like New Jersey and Pennsylvania. The rule came after sheets of frozen snow slid off moving cars and shattered windshields behind them. Lawmakers called it flying ice missiles, which sounds way cooler than it is. Now, cops can fine you even before it falls off. Because apparently, your car shouldn't double as a weaponized snow cone. Clean it off unless you want your winter wonderland turned into a courtroom drama. Number 97. Warming up your car in the driveway feels like peak adulting. Coffee in hand, heater humming, life together, until a cop knocks. In states like Michigan and Ohio, it's called puffing, and it's illegal. The law started to stop car thefts since running vehicles attract joyriders like moths to a flame. Even modern remote starts don't always protect you. They'll still fine you for unattended idling. So next time you're defrosting that windshield, just sit inside. Your latte can handle the chill. Your wallet can't. Number 98. Texting while walking might sound harmless, but some US cities, like Honolulu, actually made it illegal. Too many tourists were strolling straight into traffic, fountains, and occasionally each other. Lawmakers finally said, "We've got to save people from themselves." Police can fine you for distracted walking, which feels like a personal attack on every millennial with Spotify open. The irony? You'll probably check your phone to Google how much that ticket costs. Number 99. Leaving your car unlocked might seem polite in small towns, but in some cities, it's ticket-worthy. The rule traces back to early 1900s car theft waves, back when stealing a Model T was basically a hobby. Lawmakers decided unlocked doors invited crime, so they turned common sense into legal sense. Now cops can fine you just for inviting unauthorized access. It's the law's way of saying, lock your doors, genius. Simple advice, expensive lesson. Number 100. Not flushing a public toilet can technically lead to arrest in some places. Yes, that's real. Public hygiene laws classify it as disorderly conduct or creating a health hazard. The rule started in the mid-20th century when rest stops became, biohazard zones. Most people just get a warning, but repeat offenders, they can face fines or jail time. It is basically the government saying, your mom shouldn't have to follow you into adulthood. Flush it. Civilization depends on it.
That's all for today. Subscribe to Factopia for more amazing and bizarre facts. Stay curious and keep exploring.